Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Timmy Treacle, and I am back talking about Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Yes, I am back talking about one of my favorite franchises in the horror genre. This is the follow up 1 year later to Return of Michael Myers, and this movie was released on October 13th, 1989. It had a $5 million budget and it brought in 11.6 million at the box office. And this movie was directed by Dominic Gerard and also co-written by him, Michael Jacobs, and Shem Bitterman. This movie had a 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb, a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, and an 85% on Google. And this returns the characters we all love. Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis, Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd, Ellie Cornell as Rachel, Tamara Glenn as Samantha Thomas, Don Shanks as Michael Myers or the Man in Black, Bo Starr as Sheriff Meeker, and Jonathan Chapin as Mikey. We do have some new characters in this movie, and with some of these horror movies, you always have that douchebag character that you can't wait for him to be killed or her. And we'll get to that person here in a little bit, but Revenge of Michael Myers takes place just right after the fourth movie ended. As Michael has fallen into the hole after being shot numerous times, he finds this opening and crawls out. Uh, but before he does that, they throw the stick of dynamite down in there and it explodes, and they think he's pretty much gone and they don't have to worry about him anymore. Well, he sneaks out of the cave and just rolls down this river and ends up getting caught in this net and comes ashore and finds this old hermit. And when the hermit opens the door, Michael goes to choke him, but he passes out from all the gunshots and everything. And so the hermit ends up taking care of him for a whole year. And you actually see Michael without his mask on, and he goes to put it on. He finds out that uh, Jamie is still alive. But let me get back to that. Jamie, at the end of part 4, she ended up stabbing her stepmother. And initially, she was going to be the killer for this movie. That was their thought process and idea for this movie. But then they thought against it. And they even thought about having her being a sidekick to Michael in this movie. But at the end of the day, they felt it wasn't going to work. So in this movie, they make Jamie a mute because of the trauma from her stabbing her stepmother and what happened to her a year prior. And Jamie, of course, has her step sister, you call her, Rachel, back. But in this movie, Rachel is not going to be a final girl. She is actually killed within the first act of this movie. And we have a new sort of final girl in this movie. Um, it is Tina in this movie. The acting in this movie isn't the greatest, but for horror movies, there's not a lot of great actors in them, except for a handful. Of course, I love Dr. Loomis. I love Donald Pleasance, Danielle Harris, of course, and Ellie Cornell is really great. Uh, Bo Starr is good as Sheriff Meeker. Some of the kills in this movie are really good. I really enjoy. Uh, Michael is really, really savage in this movie, as he is in some others as well. The kills in this movie are fantastic. But let's get back to Jamie. She's a mute, and she mainly can feel and see what Michael is doing and where he's going to strike next. So Dr. Loomis uses this as a way to try to hunt him down and put an end to him for once and for all. And throughout this movie, like I said, Rachel is killed in the first act of this movie. Initially, she was supposed to be the scissors were supposed to go down her throat instead of in her shoulder. Um, That's what was in the script, and she said no, she didn't want that, and so they changed that. She really didn't want to be killed so quick in this movie, but that's how they wrote it, and that's what they decided to do. And she was a great final girl in the fourth movie, and she was great at the beginning of this one. Tina, on the other hand, wasn't that interesting of a character, but I will give her props because she protects Jamie in this movie like that's her sister. She loves Jamie, and she ultimately pays the price in the last act of this movie. Um, but for her love, she sacrifices herself to save Jamie, and that's one thing I really loved about her character. Now, when it comes to the Man in Black is a mysterious character we see throughout the movie. First, he gets off a bus, and you see him throughout the movie. Uh, and he has the same mark as Michael Myers does, the thorn symbol. And so we're thinking, who's this guy? But the movie goes on, and they come up with a plan to have Jamie lure him to the old Myers house and uh, basically just ambush him. Well, Michael was smart, and he attacks the children's hospital where Jamie was staying, along with one of her friends, Billy, in the movie. And so a lot of the cops leave the Myers location to go tend to that, and it just leaves one sheriff and Dr. Loomis along with Jamie, and that's what Dr. Loomis wanted. That's the only way Michael was going to come there. And so Michael comes there, kicks ass, of course, kills the deputy in the room with Daniel Harris. That gentleman was in a movie called Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, but uh, he gets killed. He gets hung in this movie, which actually was a pretty inventive kill. But some of the good kills in this movie, I always said there was one douchebag that you couldn't wait for him or her to be killed. And that character was Mikey. Mikey was a big old douchebag. He had this bitchin' ass car in this movie, and he didn't like anybody touching it. So he pulls around to this general store to pick up some basically stolen alcohol from one of his buddies. The buddy loads it in there, and Mike is checking himself out in the mirror, getting ready to leave. Michael Myers comes up from the side of the store and has this three pointed fork, or whatever you want to call it. The blades, not blades, but the points were about this big, and they were in a triangle, and there was a long wooden handle. And Michael slams it on the car and then scratches his car. And Mikey gets out and tells him, "You want to play?" And he goes to hit Michael, and Michael just grabs him by the throat and just starts choking him. And then he takes that weapon and just stabs him in the forehead. And that's pretty much the end of Mikey. And I could not wait for that. I couldn't stand Monk's character in this movie. But one of the most terrifying parts in this movie is when Michael is in Mikey's car and picking up Tina for this party. And Myers, instead of having his mask on, he has on the mask that Mikey was going to wear. Tina has no idea. And so they're driving along. She wants to stop for cigarettes. And Jamie is seeing this and freaks out at the children's hospital when they're having this little pageant Halloween costume contest. And she's describing to them where Tina is. And finally, they get to her and save her life at that point. But Michael, after Tina gets out to get the cigarettes, he switches mask, and it's so terrifying. You feel for this character. You don't want her to get back in that car. Ultimately, she does it because she's saved by the cops. Well, she still ends up going to this party, and this one couple, the girl who happens to be a virgin, go figure, they end up having sex in this barn, and Michael comes up and stabs the guy with the pitchfork through the back. That is an awesome kill. But then he takes this other weapon, which I can't remember what it is, but it's the same weapon you see in the picture of Stephen King's original Children of the Corn movie. If you see the case, it's a long wooden weapon and it's got a long curved metal blade. I don't know what it's called, but she basically gets sliced in half, and that was awesome. But another funny kill, there's two cops outside of that barn that are just watching the party to basically look after Tina. And Michael comes out and basically just stabs the hell out of these cops, and it is so funny. Although we don't, it's off screen, we don't see it, but that was great. I really enjoyed that scene and those kills as well. And as we're getting towards the end of the movie, Jamie is looking for Tina because she knows Michael is there and after her. They're being chased through this field, and Michael is chasing Jamie down with the car, and Michael actually catches Jamie, and this is where Tina comes in to being a hero. She jumps in front and basically saves Jamie and gives up her own life to protect her. Like I said, she loves Jamie. And of course, she ends up dying. Jamie is so upset, she agrees to help Dr. Loomis capture Michael. And during the scene where Michael has been, this big old metal net has been dropped on Michael by Dr. Loomis, and Loomis has shot him up with some tranquilizers. Well, Dr. Loomis, played by Donald Pleasance, is hitting Michael with this 2x4. Well, if you watch the behind the scenes stuff on YouTube, you'll find out that Donald Pleasance actually broke George P. Wilbur's nose during the filming of the scene, and but they kept it going and just did it like nothing was going on. And but yeah, I love all the behind the scenes stuff you learn about these movies. And so Michael is caught. He is taken into the jail, and he's chained up. There's no way he's getting out. Well, the man in black is where he comes in. He goes charging into the police station and shoots him up, and you hear this big explosion. And Jamie, who's outside with another sheriff deputy, is by herself because the deputy goes in after the shots are fired. Well, after the shots stop, she goes in and sees all the officers dead. And then you look at the jail cell, and there's a couple burning pieces of metal. And then you hear her say, no. And then she screams, no. And that's the end. So we don't know what the hell happened to Michael and Jamie. And so we're thinking we're going to get a sequel the next following year. Well, we didn't get another sequel until 1995, which was really disappointing. But I will talk about that more when I do that review of that movie tomorrow. But that's how part 5 ends. And I have to say, even though critics didn't like this movie, I love this movie. Even if this was the end of the series, I think they ended it too much on a cliffhanger. And in my opinion, I really wish we would have got a sequel the very next year. Mainly the reason is what I'll talk about tomorrow in the movie. But I love the character of Daniel Harris. I love Loomis. And yeah, I was really looking forward to more. And will we get that? Well, you'll find out tomorrow when I do the review for part 6 and part 7. So, other than that, I will give Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, a 7 out of 10. And yeah, I love this movie as well. It's, again, another movie I watch every Halloween. Sometimes I watch it just whenever. And I love this franchise. Even though it's not my favorite horror franchise, I love Michael Myers and I love these characters. And so, uh, give me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And let me know, what is your favorite horror sequel for the Halloween franchise after part one? And I'm not including Season of the Witch, all just either Michael Myers sequels. Which one is your favorite up to part five? Because that's how far I've gone. So if you like this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share this video with your friends. I would love to talk with you guys about movies. I do top tens. I talk about TV shows as well, which I'll be starting here when the fall season begins. I'll be talking about my favorite shows that I watch during the fall and winter months. So look forward to those reviews as well. But other than that, I thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm Timmy Treacle. Thank you for watching.